So, interesting. Bitcoin, US crypto conference. Hype, hype, hype. Ain't doing nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's video is just going to break it all down for you because we do have some news coming out very shortly, which is the Google earnings. Now, if Google doesn't come through with its earnings, and the stock market ain't going to be liking it if it doesn't. But if it does, then, of course, things should be getting interesting for cryptocurrency as well. So if you are new, welcome to Traders Reality. My name is Tina. Let's talk about this madness we call trading. Quickly going over to the charts right now, you can see Bitcoin is working its way towards the previous blue vector candle region. Now, if you are new to this channel, stick around because I'm going to tell you exactly why these two red arrows are important for us during this video. Now, with that being said, going into the news itself, you can see they're all waiting for this Google announcement, which is what led to a little bit of a rally in the NASDAQ today. Quickly going over into the NASDAQ itself, I was very reluctant to trade the NASDAQ today. I really was, because I just don't like trading when there's going to be a big news announcement, because something could come out about the earnings, which could actually rock the marketplace. But I said to myself, you know what? We trade. If we see an opportunity, we have to take it. So I ended up taking some trades today on the NASDAQ just to keep it short and sweet. So these were my trades right here, and we managed to net ourselves £14,594 on the actual day, which was a really good day for us. And I was just scalping left, right, and center on the NASDAQ. Built some longs, shorts up here at the highs. And if you look at where I'm actually placing these shorts there, some of them are in this range because I assume that they're going to try and bring it down. But I'm always looking to short from the highest point, because that's what the whole point of this game is. You buy low, you sell high. Okay. Now, here you go. You buy low right here and you're selling higher. Okay. So that was the logic. And that was my day-to-day trading the NASDAQ. So that was a decent day for us. Now, with that being said, going into what's going on with the NASDAQ, there could be a little bit of volatility coming into NASDAQ at the close. Of course, once Google declares its earnings, if they miss, we've got a problem. NASDAQ will just simply roll over, because this story right here is where it's at. Right now, it says that $9.2 trillion worth of US debt is either going to come to maturity or needs to be refinanced. That pretty much explains why Donald Trump is pushing these tariffs. They need to make as much money as they bloody can. That effectively explains why gold is making a bit of a move to the upside. Look at gold, all-time high, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what happens. Investors start to price in the idea that uncertainty is where we are right now. They don't know what's going to be happening. If you go over to the bonds market, you can see the bonds are starting to climb up nicely, which is all good. The 10-year yield itself is coming in at a 4.5%. Still high, but investors are trying to lock in some yield on the uncertainty of what's going on. But if gold is pumping up, guys, then we've got ourselves a little bit of a problem, because investors are effectively looking for the safe haven. And if investors are going to a safety, then it means that they're not going to be putting risk on. Now, you're asking yourself the question, why aren't investors going into Bitcoin? Isn't Bitcoin a store of value? Isn't Bitcoin a hedge against inflation? Isn't Bitcoin so much more valuable than gold? Well, yeah, technically you could assume that, but the problem is Bitcoin isn't, to put it into perspective, Bitcoin is new. And Bitcoin hasn't stood the test of time in terms of really bad news or really good news. And that's what I think is holding Bitcoin back, because it's still young. Gold, how long people been trading gold? Years. Absolutely years. But the idea is that investors, new and old, are coming into crypto. And if they see a little bit of volatility in Bitcoin, they get out. Or they see great volatility to the upside, they get in. And then they end up getting smacked about, because that's what happens with cryptocurrency. Now, if you're a holder, these two areas right here are very important for you. What we really need to see happening is Bitcoin taking a nosedive to try and sweep this liquidity down here towards the 94,000. Why? Down here, you can see there's lots of liquidity coming into the marketplace. You can see we've got some orders on the bid side around the 91,000 mark. And then, of course, some bids are coming into play at the 89,000. You can see there's $31 million right there. Now, this will be a good discount on Bitcoin for the shorter term. Now, of course, if Google does come through and perform really well, that's going to be a win for Bitcoin. So in other words, if Bitcoin can actually break down and then hold inside of this 92 region to then make the reversal back up, hopefully good news comes into play from Trump, and he says he's going to turn Bitcoin into a strategic reserve coin, and then he's going to start buying up the Bitcoin. Happy days. And I think that's what people are waiting for. They're all relying on when is the US government going to be picking up Bitcoin? Because what good news is coming out right now about cryptocurrency, other than the fact that everyone wants to put Bitcoin into a sovereign fund? I ain't seen no one putting it anywhere yet. I really don't. the only fund that we're seeing is this ETF fund. And good old BlackRock seems to be holding out very well. I'm not seeing any transactions on that side of the actual ETF. No one's really getting rid of it. So they could be speculating on the idea that maybe this sovereign fund story and Bitcoin reserve is going to come into play. So people are effectively absorbing the volatility in Bitcoin, going into the leverages, the leverage traders. We're quickly going into the 3-day chart to understand where we are with it all. And then you can see here that we've got this short liquidation region up here around 256 million, around 102,800. And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, especially with what Bybit has come out and said, that the liquidation points themselves, or the true liquidations that were released, about $2 billion worth of longs getting liquidated, is not really the true figure. If you use something like this, don't go by it and say, yes, this is correct on the liquidations. Granted, there are liquidations up here and there are liquidations down here. And we can use it as ballpark figures to say, yeah, maybe there's around 266 million. It could possibly be more. So when you look at that, you can think to yourself, okay, there's a lot of liquidations there, but it actually is less than what is actually there, to be frank with you. So how would you use it? Well, you would use it as a point of interest. Where is traders' commitment? Where is the psychology? All these guys think Bitcoin's going to go down. All these guys down here think Bitcoin is going to go up. And on top of that, they're going to be plowing into their margin to protect their positions. And that's where you start seeing Bitcoin getting a little bit tricky as well. So when we go into the close today and we do get the earnings from Google, just wait. Don't jump the gun. Just let the results come out, because if they come out and say they've hit their earnings estimates, but then they expect that the trajectory for AI or their cloud computer services is going to see a little bit of weakness, then that's not going to be good for investors in the longer term. They might have great results, but if they don't think it's going to be good in the future, then we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a problem holding on to Google stock. Not to even forget the fact that Meta itself has been performing so well. Look at this. 12 days in a row, it's just not stopped going up, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely wild. Could Google be the bane of the NASDAQ right now and not come through with its earnings and then bring everything back down again? Remember what I said to you about the distribution days. They're building up on the NASDAQ and the S&P. Okay, so realistically today, NASDAQ really needs to be finishing really, really strong. Quickly going over to the NASDAQ itself, you can see it's still up 1%. Okay, we're going to be anticipating that volume is going to be high today because dip buyers have been stepping in. So we really want to make sure that NASDAQ can actually climb up a little bit more. And of course, take off the distribution day, because if NASDAQ finishes positive today, which is more than likely will, that's then going to be reducing down the distribution days on this chart right here down to 7. But still, we've got a lot of distribution days where investors have been selling quite aggressively. With that being said, guys, as we do go in towards the close right now, you can see Bitcoin is starting to roll over a little bit. Just wait for the Google earnings to come out so you understand exactly where you stand, whether investors are going to start buying more Google stock or they're going to start selling Google stock. Remember, it's a big market cap, so it does have precedence in the stock market. With that being said, we'll be tuning into tomorrow with the New York live stream. Hit the like button and subscribe. It's free to do, man. And I promise you I won't ever wink again. Mad love and respect. Anyways, peace.